You ever open a bill and feel your blood pressure hit the roof before you even know why? That was me standing in my kitchen 2 days back from my Maui honeymoon, still smelling like sunscreen and airport coffee, staring at an electricity bill that was $400 more than usual. The kicker, I hadn't even been home for half the month. It wasn't just a little spike either. This was triple my average. And if you know me, you know I'm the kind of guy who'll unplug the coffee maker before leaving for a weekend. So when I saw that $563 on the bill, my heart dropped straight through the floor. I'm Alex Carter, by the way, 34 software engineer, big on renewable energy. And until recently, I thought my biggest problem was whether to go solar this year or wait for tax incentives. Turns out my real problem lived right next door. Let me back up a sec. My wife Emma and I had saved for months for that Hawaii trip. We live in this basic but happy California neighborhood where the loudest thing most days is the mail truck backfiring. My house isn't anything fancy, but it's ours, and I've always loved that outdoor outlet in the backyard, perfect for the power tools and my little weekend projects. So you can imagine my confusion coming home to a sky-high electric bill after being away. My first thought, did I leave something running? Maybe the water heater, maybe the fridge went haywire. I tore through every room, double-checking nothing. Called the utility company, and the rep tells me my house used over 600 kilowatt hours. Must be a new appliance or electrical issue, she says. But there was nothing new, nothing broken. That's when I went outside and noticed the bright orange extension cord snaking through a gap in the fence like some cartoon clue. It went straight into my neighbor Linda's garage. Linda Walsh. If you've lived in any suburban America, you know a Linda. 50-ish, always in a bathrobe, running some side hustle out of her garage and just confident enough to be dangerous. When I knocked, she answered in full spa mode, looking like she'd just come from a day at the Ritz jazz music floating out behind her. I tried to be civil. Hey, Linda, there's an extension cord from your garage to my outlet. Can we talk about it? She doesn't miss a beat. Tells me it's standard neighborhood practice that her late husband, some master electrician, always said outdoor outlets are for the community, like sidewalks or streetlights. Totally normal, she says. You know what I mean? For a second, I actually questioned myself. She was so matter-of-fact, I almost wondered if maybe I'd missed a memo about suburban electrical etiquette. But then she laughed off my concerns about the bill, insisting hot tubs barely use any power, that I probably have faulty wiring, and wait for it offered to put me in touch with her late husband's business partner to inspect my system. She was gaslighting me straight up with a smile. I walked home fuming, but a little voice in the back of my head kept nagging, what if she's right? Nah, I'm a software engineer. I literally work with power systems. I got out my calculator and looked up her hot tub specs. 8,000 watts running around the clock plus sound system, fridge lights, the whole 9 yards. I texted her the math, $400 a month just for that setup. She fired back that I was wrong, accused me of harassing her, and threatened to call the HOA. Classic Linda, when in doubt, play the victim. Here's where it gets good. My house has a weird quirk. From the last owner, the backyard outlet is on the same circuit as my septic pump. Every time someone flushes, the pump kicks on, and to prevent overload, the power to that outlet cuts out for a minute. That's when the idea hit me. If Linda wanted to share my electricity, she was going to get an up-close, personal demonstration of my family's bathroom schedule. The next morning, I loaded up on coffee and waited for her spa time to start right around 7:30. I timed my flush, heard her jazz music cut out mid-song, and a few seconds later, caught her shouting in frustration from her garage. Rinse, repeat 3 times a day, every day. Soon, Linda was tracking outages, scribbling notes, setting up clocks, and testing equipment, convinced she was onto some big neighborhood grid issue. And then came the twist. Linda posted in our community group asking if anyone else had atmospheric pressure-related power outages, which according to her was causing mysterious 1-minute blackouts in her garage. Nobody else had noticed a thing, but Linda went full CSI Weather Channel. She even called out a utility tech who politely told her there was nothing wrong with the lines. Not satisfied, Linda got her husband's old business partner Mike to check her wiring. He found nothing but mentioned something about load cycling and atmospheric pressure. That's all she needed. Now Linda was certain the weather was sabotaging her hot tub. It didn't stop there. She started taking barometric pressure readings every half hour, making color-coded charts, emailing meteorologists, and planning a community electrical safety forum in her garage. By this point, she'd gone so far down the rabbit hole, she'd convinced herself and a few gullible neighbors that she was on the verge of a scientific breakthrough. Meanwhile, I'm just over here timing my coffee and enjoying the show. Emma, my wife, got in on it too, helping to trigger events during Linda's research windows. Our little prank had become a full-blown neighborhood conspiracy, and Linda had no clue. The day of Linda's big presentation arrives. I show up, folder of evidence in hand, trying to keep a straight face. Linda's got folding chairs, a projector, a hot tub on display, and is clicking through graphs like she's at a TED Talk. Atmospheric pressure is causing electromagnetic interference in our grid, she declares, just as I using my Wi-Fi smart toilet don't judge trigger a flush. Instantly, her hot tub shuts down in front of everyone. She looks triumphant, her live demo of pressure-induced outages. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I stood up, asked to explain the actual setup, and walked the group over to my electrical panel. "See this?" I said. "Every time someone in my house uses the bathroom, the septic pump cuts power to that outlet." Suddenly, it all clicked for the neighbors. Linda had spent 3 weeks scientifically documenting my family's bathroom habits and presenting it as atmospheric research. Dead silence, then laughter. Real can't breathe tears in your eyes laughter. But the story doesn't end there. Timothy, our neighbor, filmed the whole thing. He posted the video online. Linda's earnest weather theory, my bathroom demonstration, her face when it all fell apart. The internet ate it up. Within days, atmospheric pressure, Karen, was a meme. She couldn't show her face at the grocery store or the coffee shop without people giggling or asking about the pressure. Every forum, every local news story, every meme page, Linda was famous for the worst possible reason. Humiliation turned her world upside down. She lost job prospects, social ties, even had to sell her house. Nobody wanted to buy the atmospheric pressure house except an investor looking for a laugh. But here's the kicker. The meme that ruined Linda's life actually set her free. Turns out she moved to Oregon, got obsessed with real atmospheric science, volunteered with NOAA, learned legitimate research, and within 2 years became a published expert on, wait for it, how atmospheric pressure affects grid stability. The fake science that made her a joke pushed her to learn the real thing, and now she's helping to prevent blackouts during actual weather events. And that's where the story gets complicated, right? What started as petty revenge became a lesson in redemption, in owning your mistakes and turning them into something real. Linda paid me back in a way by funding science equipment for kids, and today she's a legitimate researcher with her name on real scientific papers. Sometimes justice is weird like that. Sometimes the punishment becomes the path. Sometimes the villain of the story ends up making the world a little better. So was this karma? Was it justice, or was it just one of those ridiculous accidental stories that prove truth is always stranger than fiction? I don't know. But every time I flush my toilet, I still laugh thinking about the time my neighbor tracked my bathroom schedule in the name of science. What would you have done? Drop your thoughts below. Do you believe in redemption, or do you think Linda got off too easy? If this made you laugh, hit like, share your stories, and subscribe for more wild suburban tales. I'm Alex, this is real life, and trust me, nobody could make this up.